Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday, and I just got in 25 minutes ago and have been setting up the live stream, so things could go massively wrong. As you can see, I'm still in my going out clothes because earlier on tonight I was at the Frankie Valli performance at the Royal Albert Hall. And I did take a few pictures which I've tried to upload to the software. I'm not sure whether it worked or not. Hopefully it will. Fingers crossed. But let's see if I can get everything up on screen as normally happens. I think I've covered all bases setting everything up. What I didn't do was turn on the microphone or my speakers before starting the live stream. So I was sitting there in silence to art not commerce, but I can hear everything now, which is great. Let me get you guys up on screen. to see who is in the house tonight. And we have Bob's in there, Tammy, Lynn, Anna, Bev, Carla, Billy, Tracy, Clint, Laurie, Melinda, Mark, Squeaky79, Debbie, Charlie, Laurie, Terry, and Stardust Unicorn. Hello guys, thank you for joining me on this Saturday night. I hope that you had a great start to the weekend. And I can see that donations come in from Jennifer already. Thank you for that. I will be addressing the donations that came in before we went live, and I just want to make sure that I've got that organised, and I did remember to do that before we went live. So I think just remembering everything is going to be a challenge tonight, but fingers crossed it'll be fine. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, because they make this all possible in the first place. Even the rushed setup live streams that we're doing, and we do have a few of those, but I think this is the most rushed that I've ever had to set one up. And after the show, and by the way, yes, the Frankie Valli show was just fantastic, and what a great live band, and I was invited to that a couple of nights ago, so it was a little bit kind of last minute organising everything, but Robbie Robinson, who is the music director, invited me down, and he's Frankie's music director, and I managed to speak to him after the show, which is great. So that's probably why I'm back a little bit later than I thought I would be, because I thought I'd just watch the performance and then go home, but I did have quite a long chat with Robbie afterwards, which was great. And you know, he said that he's a big fan of the channel, and he's seen a lot of the videos, and Frankie's seen a few of the videos as well, which is great. And with Frankie, unfortunately, nobody can meet him backstage or get close because of COVID. It's just too high risk. So, I mean, it's totally understandable, but it was great that I had a chat with Robbie. And he did take a picture on his phone, or at least he got somebody else to take a picture of us together, and he's going to email that over to me at some point. So I might have that picture on Tuesday, I might not, but we made sure that because the venue was emptying at that point, obviously there were a lot of people waiting to, I felt a little bit guilty. There were a lot of people waiting to, you know, get Robbie's attention and, you know, have things signed and have pictures themselves. But yeah, we spoke for a little while after that and went out, got a bit of a backdrop of the Royal Albert Hall for our picture, which was great. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when that picture comes available, and I'll probably show it over on Patreon as well as show it on the live streams. So let me now get the likes goal up on screen. Now, this is something that was sent to me literally a few minutes ago from Carla, so thank you for that, Carla. And I'm just checking that it says 400 likes. I think if that's what we're going for, that's what we're going for. I mean, that is the hugest target ever. We will see how we get on with that, but if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be massively appreciated. And let me get the live likes up on screen. I'm not sure whether it's going to show. Yes, I knew that would happen. It was going to be a little bit wonky, so let me adjust that before I get it on screen again, and that should be a little bit better. 192 is the amount of likes we have so far. So if you guys could leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be much appreciated in order to get us closer to this really high target of 400, the biggest target that we've ever had. So we will see how we get on. I can see Susan and Dennis saying 400 likes goal. We can do it. Fingers crossed. So if you can leave a thumbs up, if you haven't done that yet, it'll be a great start to making a little bit of a dent in that total. And if we do hit that total, it means that we're going to have a pick roulette next week. As always happens when we hit that pick roulette likes goal, the cue, or the clue, it could be a cue, but the clue is in the title of the pick roulette's likes goal. So that is what we're aiming for, and we will be having a pick roulette later on tonight as well. Again, this is something that's just been sent through to me from Carla, and hopefully I might have to do it a little bit on the fly, getting it organised and on screen, but hopefully it's going to work out all right. We can hope for the best. Right, let me get the donations tab up on screen as well. You guys don't have to donate, of course. Just watching the live stream is good enough for me. But if you can't resist it, then the percentage splits are on screen just so you know exactly where your money goes. And with the super chat donations, between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube, and through PayPal it's between 3 and 5%. And you can find a PayPal link in the description below if you choose to do things that way. But like I said, it's totally up to you, and you don't have to donate anyway. Just having your company on the live streams is good enough, and great to see your names in that live chat room. So I think we are just about organised. What I do want to get through is the donations window before we went live, because we did have a few donations in there. So thank you guys for these. And it is Orlando who donated $2 and says, let's do this, spike the likes, with lots of thumbs up. So thank you for that. Considering that as well, we weren't really sure if I was going to make it back in time to do the live stream. Thank you guys for these donations before we even went live, because you're donating and I might not even be live streaming. So I know that we haven't missed one in about 3 years, maybe longer than 3 years. It could be 4 years, and I didn't want to let that record go. So I wanted to make sure that we still did a live stream today, and thankfully I was just about back in time. One thing is that I'm hoping we're not going to be talking about food for this live stream. It's something that does tend to pop up because I've had a bowl of, I mean, this is the whole day. I've had a bowl of cornflakes and about this much of grape juice, and then the rest has just been water. So it's been a little bit hardcore today. If I was on a diet or a detox, it would be a good day, but I'm going to have to grab some dinner after this live stream. And yes, it is midnight here in the UK, but I'm sure that I'm going to have to eat something at some point. So I will be doing that after the live stream, hoping that we don't talk about food, because this is probably the hungriest I've been in any live stream ever. But thank you, Orlando, for that donation. Let me just give a plug of the mug. And here it is. I always do this with Orlando's donation and Paul's donation when Paul is backing up Orlando, as he did here with a $2 donation. And the message was, spike the likes, all y'all. Orlando's back up with some thumbs up. So thank you for that, Paul. And the plug of the mug, if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, just click on the tray underneath this video and that'll take you through to the spring.com store. If you haven't got a tray underneath your video, then click on the link in the description below and that'll take you through to the same place where you can find the t-shirts, the hoodies, the caps, the mugs, all that kind of stuff. If you want necklaces or earrings, the merchandise over at wingsofpegasus.com is the place for that. And that's wingsofpegasus.com/merch if you want to go straight there. And that's Carla's merchandise, where you can get, you know, pics on chains and all that kind of stuff. So we are, and you can just buy pics, by the way, just alone. So anyway, we are, I think, I'm just making sure that you can hear me. I'm just looking at the audio levels. I think everything's going through. Because it's been so randomly late in setting up, I'm just assuming that everything's working because I haven't done a sound check or a video check, the stuff that I usually do. So we are going to see, and I think, fingers crossed, everything's working. I'm just going to push on forward as if it is. By the way, big shout out to the moderators who do such a fantastic job. And I can see Susan and Dennis going through again. And we had Carla in there as well, and Laurie and Neil. Look out for their names in that live chat room. They do such a fantastic job. And Carla's just saying, all good, we hear you. So thank you for that confirmation. Yeah, big shout out to the moderators for doing such a great job. And their names are in blue with the wrench next to their names as well. So you can look out for them if you want to. So we are going to be moving into the cover options for tonight's video. And it's between Lay It on the Line and the other song I kind of forget. Oh, it was Hotel California, and these were requested over on Patreon. So yeah, Lay It on the Line and Hotel California are the two. They should be at the top of your chat room in the kind of comment section or the live chat room when we are live, so you guys can vote on that. And I can see Lay It on the Line, which is one of the options, at 51% of the vote, and I only get to see the song that is in the lead. So when I say lay it on the line, then I can't think of the other track. It doesn't really help looking at any screens. But it was Hotel California that is the other option. It looks like it's going to be a close one tonight, 51%. So it could turn. Make sure you vote for the song that you want to hear later on. Obviously, my version of that particular song. Right, let's get back into that donations window. Before we went live, it was Jennifer who donated $7 as well. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And just reading this. Phil, how cool for you. Quick Cora question. Can someone who is in prison still collect, or their family, royalty rights for a song or songs in UK? So thank you for that, Jennifer. And I would assume so. I don't see why, when, if you commit a crime, you then obviously have a trial. If you're guilty of that crime, then you go to prison, and that is your punishment. Or you might have to, pay a bail or something, but you have to do your punishment for whatever the crime was. I don't think that they can say, right, you committed this crime, so here's your punishment, and as an extra punishment, we're going to take your publishing rights to that song that you wrote 30 years ago that makes money for your family. So I don't think it's something that they can do retrospectively like that. Once you've written a song and you have those rights to the song, then you own it. That's your property. That's your intellectual property. So, going to prison, committing a crime, that is the punishment for that. So I'm just applying a common sense approach to it. If they do take the publishing rights to your songs if you commit a crime, then I think that's a little bit harsh. So I can't really see that happening because it's totally different having publishing rights and then going to prison. But anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And that, I think, brings us up to date with the donations, because Jennifer then donated $5 right at the beginning of the live stream and said, Phil, cool shirt, happy for you. So thank you for that. And this is my kind of smart going out shirt, and it always tends to be my go-to shirt. I have got a couple of other shirts, but because I've worn this one recently, it means that it's in my cupboard and I don't know where the other shirts are. So it means that I can just grab this one, put it on, and I quite just like black and white anyway, so it's a look that I don't mind, and it kind of works. And I've got black and white trainers, I've got black trousers, and I've actually got a white belt as well, but I have got a black belt with, it isn't quite a white buckle, but it's kind of a silver buckle. So with this look, and it kind of goes with accessories as well. My watch is, black and silver, so I'm just a black and white kind of person. Anyway, just looking a little bit smarter tonight rather than the shirt and hoodie. I don't think I'd feel comfortable going to the Royal Albert Hall in just a hoodie and a t-shirt. I'm sure that they'd still let people in, but I wanted to look a little bit smarter for the performance tonight. Anyway, thank you for that donation, Jennifer. And then Stardust Unicorn Support Band to Wings of Pegasus has donated $10. So thank you for that. And that is a straight up donation without a message. And let's see if we can get a little spike of the lights going on. I can see that we're closing in on 300 likes, and we're aiming for 400, a crazy target tonight, but fingers crossed we can get there. If you guys haven't used your thumbs up token yet, it'd be much appreciated if you could do that. So we will see. I'm waiting to see if we get a tiny spike of the likes, and we're within one of 300, and it's 22 minutes past midnight here, so I think we are just about on track, maybe to get there. Maybe things will slow down in the second half or the last 3/4 of the live stream. We've probably still got about 50 minutes left. That's usually when we live stream too, and that's 1:15 here in the UK. So, another thing about the performance earlier tonight at the Royal Albert Hall, I did get recognised once, and this was by a guy, I didn't actually get his name, but he was part of the fan club for, Frankie Valli, who's performing tonight, obviously. And yeah, he introduced himself and said that he's seen my analysis video and maybe other videos, but it was great to kind of talk to him. And I think he said that there was going to be a meeting afterwards, and he invited me along to that because a lot of the people in the fan club had seen the video that I've got on my channel where I did an analysis of Frankie's voice, and I think that they were going to have that meeting with Robbie as well, but then I did meet Robbie after the event anyway, so that was great in order to do that. So yeah, it is weird getting recognised, but it's great to talk to people in the real world outside of the YouTube channel and just me kind of talking at people. It is great to get other people's input and talk to them one-to-one in real life. But anyway, we will move on with the live stream. Let's see how the vote is going. It's 50% for Lay It on the Line with the covers, so it is really close tonight. Everyone keep on voting for that cover at the top of the live chat room. Right, I think we're up to date in the super chat windows, or the super chat window donations. I am just going to be jumping into the donations that came through over on PayPal before we went live. So it's interesting that I can hear a little bit of resonance coming from the Maton, because I've obviously been playing a little bit of an acoustic guitar, but yes, the Maton, whenever I hit a particular frequency, I can hear it resonate, which is interesting, but not necessarily that good for a live stream, having that come across the microphone. Hopefully it's not coming across too loudly, it's just in my left ear. But it's okay at the moment. It's only when you hit a particular pitch, and more often than not, the pitch of a string. When you hit that vocally, it just tends to resonate in the body of the guitar and gets amplified, because that's effectively what's going on. There are sound waves coming out of my mouth, hitting lots of objects, including the guitar. So then it's doing its job by amplifying whatever's going in is coming out at a particular frequency. So anyway, let's not get into all of that technical talk about sound waves. It's just an interesting thing that happens when you do have acoustic guitars in your studio or in your setup. Occasionally you'll hit a note that just sings in that acoustic guitar and it comes out again. Anyway, let me get into that PayPal donations window, because we had that donation of £16.41 from Nicole, and this is Nicole Roux, and the message is Nicole Roux France. So thank you for that, and that came in at 1:25 yesterday afternoon. So thank you for that, Nicole. And it seems like we still don't get the option to go to the next message. So there's another donation, and I believe this is from Nicole again for £27.25. Thank you for that. And I'm just making sure that was a separate donation. I think it was. So 2 in a row there from Nicole. And if that was accidental, don't worry about it. You can just message me and we can reverse that. It'll be absolutely fine. Chuck has donated £2 as well. So thank you for that, Chuck. And let me just click. And it's a bit annoying. I have to keep on going out of my inbox and then back into the inbox in order to get the emails to then kind of flick between them. It used to be a lot easier earlier where you could just go up to the next email. But anyway, Camilla donated £28.51. Thank you for that, Camilla. And that is a straight up donation, and it came in at 11:02 this morning. So thank you for that. And we have Steve, who then donated £5. So thank you for that, Steve. And Steve's question is, who would you consider the most pivotal bands in rock history? So thank you for that, Steve. And I think we could probably spend a whole live stream on this, but I'll try and keep this short. I think when you're talking about rock bands, obviously, being in the UK, I'm sure that a lot of people over in the USA might have different views of different bands, but I would say that, you could say that the British invasion was a huge part of rock. You've got to mention the Beatles, so I'll mention them straight off the bat, because they were a band that were so popular, they actually pushed technology with amplification, because when they played at gigs, as I mentioned before on other live streams, the amplification didn't exist for them to be able to be heard by the whole crowd, because there were so many screaming fans there. They literally didn't have the power. So then they needed to, the companies that made the amplifiers needed to try and beef up their amplifiers, and they pushed the technology to be able to be heard at larger venues. And this is why when you're talking about festivals such as Woodstock 1969, that was an example of the result of the previous kind of 4 or 5 years of trying to boost the volume coming out of amplifiers. So now you could have it where it's outside and a lot of people can now hear it because it's at a significant volume. And this is another thing that a lot of people say, and they tie this into this conspiracy about Paul McCartney being dead but then being replaced by another guy who looks exactly the same, plays exactly the same, and plays exactly the same way genetically. I'm not talking about the same notes, but the same length of finger, the same length of forearm and upper arm, shoulder, clavicle, which is the bone that connects here from your kind of sternum over to the shoulder. I don't want to get into physiology, but the whole part of Paul McCartney's playing, and it's not just playing notes, and this is another thing that people kind of misinterpret, that they think that if the new guy who came in who looked exactly the same as him, had the same bone structure and had the same voice, the same accent, he came from the same place, but anyway, had the same playing the same notes but with the same physiology, which is impossible to do. A lot of people imitate other players and they can imitate them very well, but they can't imitate their physiology, like literally the angle of their wrist and their anchor point on the body of the guitar. But anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. But yeah, people say that, why, if he didn't die in 1966, why did they stop playing live? And the answer is what I've just mentioned, is that the amplification didn't exist for the size of gigs that they were doing. They couldn't be heard. And there's nothing more frustrating as a musician to want to play your music, but you can't hear, not only can the crowd not hear your songs, but you can't hear your songs because all you can hear is screaming. So it kind of turns into an exercise of just putting your hand where you know the chord is for your song, trying to sing the song the way that you know how to sing it, but you can't hear anything. So I fully understand why they thought, what's the point in playing live? We don't get anything out of it ourselves musically because we can't hear ourselves. We can't hear ourselves singing. So until the technology then advanced and it became better, then obviously bands could then start playing bigger venues. But anyway, so the Beatles, as I said, this is a topic that we could talk about for years and could fill up this whole live stream with, especially considering that I get sidetracked with lots of other things. But yes, the Beatles, when you mention the Beatles, you've got to mention the Rolling Stones as well, part of that British invasion. And this is all really the formation of having rock music, and then that would kind of turn into heavier, classic rock, and then hard rock music. Somebody that I always throw in there that isn't necessarily on the usual list, and people will usually mention Led Zeppelin, for example, as that kind of classic rock. A lot of other people might mention the Grateful Dead. Again, it depends where you're from, but one band that I would throw in there, and one person I would throw in there, is Alice Cooper, because when you look at the timing of when he was playing, he was around really early on, and he introduced shock rock. So it's something that's pushing the boundaries of the rock sound, the hard rock sound, but also the image, the entertainment side. This is something that wasn't really explored too much by bands like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, but Alice Cooper came along, and obviously a very young Alice Cooper, but he came along and started pushing the boundaries in the forms of entertainment, putting on a show and almost turning it into like musical theatre, but for heavier genres. And then that would then open obviously the doors to lots of other bands who would kind of push in that same direction. So yeah, really interesting from that point of view. So I'd say that there's not only the direction of rock, classic rock, hard rock, which would then lead to Van Halen, bands like that, and then throughout the 70s leading into the 80s. I mean, Van Halen was kind of late 70s and then into the early 80s. But when you're looking at the style of music, the sound, obviously a lot happened in those 60s and early 70s going into the mid to late 70s. But when you're looking at performance, that's something that a lot of people then started to push the boundaries of, and Alice Cooper was certainly one of those. But anyway, yes, we could be talking about this for years, but I'm sure everybody's got their favourite bands and those that did push the boundaries. There's so many bands that did so much. And, you know, the Beach Boys, for example, when we're talking about production in the studio, there are so many avenues you can go down for bands, and you could put the Beatles in this as well. Bands that pushed the boundaries of production as well as songwriting. And, you know, once you add into the mix production, there's so much that the great songs have in them that even now you listen back to them so many years later, you know, literally a lifetime later, and you can still appreciate the songs on a level of production. You think, wow, you know, that is so well produced. There is so much in this, and it's EQ'd so well to get all of the instruments to stand out. You've got the vocals in there, the harmonies that are so well separated, considering that we're talking about mono to begin with, and then I know that they've had remasters and things like that. But just having that mono channel and getting such a great sound is, you know, impressive in itself just in the studio. So they really were pushing the boundaries of sound effects and techniques that they were doing in the studio just to make their songs sound unique, as well as having great songs. And that is the half of it. Just writing a great song and then adding great production means you're just onto a winner. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. I am going to leave that at that point, but it is something that we can, you know, talk about for a very long time. And let me see if I can find my way back to the donations. Here we have one that's come in from Tammy for £10. So thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, glad you made it back safe and sound. I hope you had a great time, with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Tammy. And let me just, I know that there have been a few more here. So it is Karen who has donated £3.94. So thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, Phil, thanks for keeping us connected in your place of positivity, perseverance and music. Happy birthday to wrestling legend Bret Hitman Hart, 65 years of age today. Those legends had some great entrance music. Thanks for being awesome, Phil. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen. And I'm just going to move my bottle out the way because that was in the way of the messages. But I just about got through that one. Thank you, Karen. And we all know that Karen is a huge wrestling fan. And she was meeting Bret Hitman Hart during a live stream, I remember, maybe a couple of months ago, something like that. But thank you for that, Karen. And let me just get the next one going. Maria has donated £1.58. So thank you for that, Maria. And the message is, hi, Phil. I can't resist it. Laugh out loud. I hope you had a great time tonight. ? Spike those likes like there is no tomorrow. Laugh out loud. So thank you for that, Maria. And yeah, it was great tonight. And especially with, you know, Frankie's voice, his technique, he kind of flips up into this head voice that's so clear. I mean, it does sometimes sound like a reinforced falsetto, but the way that he goes from his chest voice into his head voice, he just makes it look so easy, because obviously he's been doing it for years and years. But you do really get the impression, especially watching him live and up close, that it's just something that is so natural to him that he's not having to force this voice at all. It just happens, and it's great. He's got such control of it still, and his, you know, still hitting all the notes that you want to hear. So yeah, fantastic live performance earlier on. And yeah, Frankie most certainly still has that ability in his voice to hit all of that range, just flipping up into that really cool head voice that he has. Right, thank you for that, Maria. And yes, a great time I was had by myself. And by the way, if I do show a few pictures, unfortunately, I was going to be going with my sister, but unfortunately, one of my nephews was very ill last night, which meant that my sister got to bed at, I think, 5 a.m, a little bit later. and she was due to be doing a course, and she did attend the course today in London, but because she's got another day of the course tomorrow, it meant that she just had to try and get some sleep. So unfortunately she couldn't join me, so I just went down by myself today. So it meant that it was just me taking pictures. I took one picture of myself, but I feel a little bit self-conscious taking pictures of myself with my own phone. It always looks a little bit silly. So yeah, I managed to get one of those, and yeah, there was a picture of me and Robbie from after the show. So yeah, I'll let you guys see that, as I said earlier. So right, thank you Maria for that donation. And just going to scroll up because Carla has donated £10 and says nice leather bracelets with a smiley face. So I've got some accessories on courtesy of Carla, who sent me these, I don't know how long ago now, but I don't get many opportunities to get accessorized for going out, but if I do go out to any kind of event, I tend to get a little bit more rock and roll. Obviously for the analysis videos, it's very much just me chilling out, watching a video, seeing what we can see, breaking things down. But I think, yeah, when you kind of go out, it's good to make a little bit more of an effort, especially if you're getting a little bit kind of rock and roll. That's something about the show tonight. There's a lot of, you know, rock and roll, but I'd say kind of classic rock themes going on. We had some, you know, heavy riffs in there. There's some great lead guitar work going on. So I was surprised actually at how heavy some of the songs were. So obviously that's, you know, something that I love to hear, but I just love to hear these songs, you know, as they were on the night tonight in their original arrangements. But it's cool, some of the avenues that they went down, and of course with the orchestra, just such a great live sound. And that's the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, by the way, who are playing behind Frankie. So yeah, it's such a great sound. And Robbie was there, of course, conducting, and he played a few, you know, keyboard solos. So it's great to hear such a great band and orchestra just, you know, coming together. You had those live band elements, but the orchestra in there as well. The horn section as well. You can't beat that, especially live, just hearing the power of that horn section. But yeah, great evening tonight and a great sound overall. But thank you for that, Carla. And just going to scroll up because Diana has donated £7 and 2 pence. Thank you for that, Diana. The message is, hi as Phil, howdy to all y'all wingers. So glad you got to have a bit of fun and actually see a show. Phil, further to all my fellow Americans, happy Independence Day. Y'all, be safe and happy. Hope there are some pretty fireworks and lots of colour in the near future for you all. So thank you for that, Diana. And here it's, yeah, just the 3rd. So our 4th of July isn't really anything special. It's just the 4th of July here. It isn't an Independence Day. It's not like a bank holiday. We don't celebrate it in any way, shape or form, really. But I think that a lot of people know that it is Independence Day. Probably from watching the movie Independence Day. But yeah, I think maybe people that are tied in, or maybe they've got family or friends over in the USA, might celebrate it here as well, but it's not something that generally we do across the UK. Unfortunately, it would be great to, but it's just a normal day for us. So the 4th will be a Monday. It's just a standard Monday. But thank you for that, Diana, and I hope you guys have a great Independence Day to you over in the USA, including you, Diana. Thank you for that donation. Right, let me just jump into the next one. Anne has donated £10 and says rock. Thank you for that, Anne. And then Sunny donated £3 and 94 pence, and that's it, straight up donation, I believe. Thank you for that, Sunny. And Bonnie has donated £12 and 34 pence. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And Bonnie says this is a straight up donation. And it is indeed. Thank you for that, Bonnie. And Terry has donated £7 and 88 pence. Thank you for that, Terry. And that's a straight up donation as well. And Kevin has donated £1. Thank you for that, Kevin. And the message is, I'm off to see London busker Cam Cole in Indianapolis tonight. I'll be checking in on my way to the show. Spike the likes. Thank you for that, Kevin. Great idea, by the way, there from Kevin. If you can hit that thumbs up, it would be massively appreciated. It looks like we're only 8 likes away from 400, which is just a crazy target to be going for tonight. But it looks like we might indeed get there soon. If we can find some people in the live chat room who haven't hit that thumbs up yet, maybe we can find a few people in order to get up to 400. But Kimberly has donated £15.19. Thank you for that, Kimberly. And that is a straight up donation. And Sid Taylor has donated £7.88. Thank you for that, Sid. And that's spelt CYD. So I hope that I'm saying that correctly. But thank you for that donation. And again, it is a straight up kind of donation. And Lynn has donated £59.10. Thank you for that, Lynn. A very kind donation. The message is, thanks, Phil. Glad all worked out tonight. And yes, everything did work out. We got back just in time to start the live stream. Thank you guys for all of your very kind donations over on PayPal. And I do make sure that I get through all of them, including a Carla's one that's just come in for £4.85. So thank you for that, Carla. That is a straight up donation. Right, let's try and keep everything. We are pretty organised so far. It looks like we have hit the Pig Roulette likes goal at 400. We are at 408. So thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. You can keep on doing that. It really does help this live stream to get out there a little bit more and for the channel to grow on the whole. And if you're part of the catch-up crew, if you're watching this in the future, then you can hit that thumbs up. It really does help. It all really does count. So thank you guys for all of your support, hitting that thumbs up. I can see that Hotel California has just snuck into the lead on that cover vote tonight. So it is 1:45. We might be jumping into the cover really soon. Let me just get into that super chat window because Get Some J has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, I have a plate of barbecue ribs and a place at my table if you ever make it to Texas. Can't let you go hungry. So thank you for that. And yes, I am very hungry tonight. This is something that whenever I'm watching any shows about, somebody traveling across the USA or, doing like Route 66 or something like that. And I think that's what it's called. Hopefully I'm not just making that up. But they kind of get on a motorbike and they just ride for days and days. And they stop off at diners. And they have some of these diners that have barbecued ribs, and they have like a massive barbecue and they put this sauce all over the ribs and it just looks like the most amazing food ever. I always think that, if I'm over in the USA, barbecue ribs is something that I've got to just experience and taste and just see what it's all about. Obviously I had barbecue ribs here, but I don't think it's really the same thing, especially when you look at how they do it over in the USA. It's just these huge grills and it just looks amazing. But I'm going to stop talking about food because I'm very hungry. But thank you for that invite. Get Some J. I'm sure when I'm over in the USA I will indeed be getting a plate of barbecue ribs. But thank you Jennifer as well, who has donated $5. And the message is, again, Phil, that is why I would have never gone to a Beatles concert. Those screaming girls. John was not keen on it either, I have heard. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And I think that when you're a musician, there's a particular enjoyment you get from playing your own music and being able to express yourself through your music, getting people to listen to it. And that is the thing, that you want people to listen to your music. And if just girls are screaming all the time, then you'll think, well, you can't hear what I'm doing. So, I think they're very much just screaming because the band are there. They're not really taking in the art of the music. So, like I've said, I really do understand that on a level as to why they stopped playing live, because it must have been quite frustrating. But anyway, thank you, Karen, again, who has donated $2 and says, Phil, sending well wishes for your nephew with a heart. So thank you for that, Karen. And yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, he had a temperature of like 40 degrees, something like that. That's Celsius. I think that's about 100 maybe Fahrenheit. It's got to be around there. So yeah, he unfortunately, yeah, was very ill last night. But as I said to my sister, health is most important. So it just, she had to make sure that she could look after him and that he could get better. But thank you for that, Karen. And Stardust Unicorns donated $2 again and says, spike the likes, people. So thank you for that. Again, you can keep on doing that. 427 on that likeometer so far. So we are doing very well tonight. Orlando's donated $2 and says, sorry, I am late. How was the show, Phil? So thank you for that, Orlando. And yes, the show was great. And let me see if... what we'll do, I can't decide whether we'll look at some pictures now. We will. I'll see if actually this worked in the first place. Let me get the background on screen. I almost clicked on the wrong square there. We almost went straight into the pick roulette, but I just about clicked it correctly. Right, so let me see if, some of these pictures are going to be too small on my screen. I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, so this is my seat. And as you can see, it's a great seat. So, huge thanks to Robbie and Frankie for sitting me, right up by the side of the stage. So there was, this was probably, I think about half an hour before the show started. So let me get rid of that. And I just turned the camera around to the left to show the Royal Albert Hall. And obviously, half an hour before, the people were just gathering. And the next picture is some dude. It's a little bit dark, but this is the problem when I'm trying to take a picture of my own face. But that is me at the Royal Albert Hall, doing the rock sign, of course. And what have we got next? This was, I think, just before we're about to start, before the lights went down. As you can see, it's all starting to fill in quite a lot. And it was a sold out show, or a sold out show. If you want to replace the letters, as my brain loves to do sometimes. But yes, a sold out show indeed. And here we have, I kind of tried to, with the lighting, the camera obviously didn't pick it up too well. But there's Frankie in the middle, and we can't quite see Robbie in the background. You can see the keyboards that Robbie was playing. He was actually turning to the orchestra, and you can see the orchestra at the back there, but he was conducting them. Let me see if we can get a closer one. And there we go. There's Robbie with his hat on. He had some great key solos in there as well. So let me see if I've got, I think, 2 more pictures, and that one's a little bit clearer. The screens in the background were really bright, so unfortunately we can't see what's on them, but I think where we got into, Greece. This is the one that I did manage to take a picture of, and it did say Greece on the car, of course, but this was just before Frankie was about to get into, obviously, the Greece theme. And this is one of those songs that, I know very well. I think everybody knows very well. And by the way, it did say Grease on the car. I think because of the brightness, it didn't really pick it up. But this was just after the interval. So, Frankie just went straight back into it. And it's such a cool song to hear with the orchestra, because absolutely everything is in there that you want to hear. You've got the great bits of guitar, and there's so many hooks in the song, as you guys will know. And it's great to hear it live. And of course, just having Frankie nailing the vocals. So, it was a great performance all around. And I think that was the last picture that I took. So, it was about 8 that I did manage to take in all. So, let me see if I can now get myself back on screen. I think that has worked. Right. I actually have minimized the screen that I was looking at before, but we'll just keep on pushing forward as if everything's fine. So we'll jump into tonight's cover, and it looks like, let me just end the poll. Just going to end the vote there. I'm just waiting to see, I think it was Hotel California, which was the name of the song that I could see, and it was that one indeed. 53% of the vote and 371 votes tonight. So thank you everyone for voting for this particular cover. It is my version of Hotel California, and I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys after. Rock. smell of colitas rising up through the air. Overhead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Let me have room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Her mind is Tiffany twisted. She got the Mercedes Benz. She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys that she calls friends. How they dance in the courtyard, sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. So I called up the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. Still those voices are calling from far away. Wake you up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Living it up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise. Bring her round the pies. Mirrors on the ceiling, the pink champagne on ice. She said, we're all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their stealing knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we're programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you may never leave. there we have it. That was my version of Hotel California. I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and big shout out to you guys over on Patreon for even suggesting and requesting a cover or two for me to be able to get going on this live stream, considering that normally I do that update about an hour before we go live, and this was about 25 minutes before we went live. So thank you guys for checking the messages and commenting over there. By the way, guys, if you want to get involved yourselves and you want to check out the Patreon site, patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, that's the place to go. And as I always say, that is the foundation of everything that I do. So if I wasn't on YouTube, I'd be doing everything over at patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. And if you get involved over there, then your name goes on the bottom of these live streams. As you all know, if you watch the live streams for any length of time, they go throughout the duration on a Tuesday and a Saturday. So yes, you also, if you want to, message me directly over on Patreon. Not that you have to, but you do have a direct line to me. That is an option over there. Anyway, let's quickly just jump into the donations window again in the YouTube Super Chat donations window. Jennifer donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The messages: Phil, so hope you get to meet Joe and Don Felder someday. That would be awesome. Okay, thank you for that, Jennifer. Diane's just donated $10 as well, and that's a straight up donation. Oh, that's going through the live chat room, and I think that coincides with what I've just read out. So thank you for that, Diane. There have been a couple of donations over on PayPal as well, and Steve has donated £1 as well. So thank you for that. And the message is: did you count all of the holes in the hall, or have they fixed them? So thank you for that, Steve. And no, no, I wasn't doing any counting. What I was doing was just looking at the domes at the top and the way that they've been organized in order to, I mean, it's such a huge undertaking, and I can't remember when they did this. Was it the late 90s? Was the early noughties? I can't remember, but they went through this massive treatment because just turning it into a music venue, because it hosts so many different kinds of events. Having it as a music venue, it meant that you have to have a good sound in there, but because of the shape of it, it doesn't really lend itself to being a good acoustic space, because when the sound's going out, it's bouncing off things, all coming back into the middle. So it would mean that when you're in the crowd, everybody that's on stage, they're performing, and the back isn't that far away. So it means that all of the sound waves are going to hit the back, and they're going to hit the back of your head as well as hearing the front. So you can imagine that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how many milliseconds it is, but it is noticeable the amount of time it takes the sound to get to your ears from the front and to go back, hit the back of the room and come back, and then hit your ears from behind. So you'll get that almost, a single clap would sound like this. So you can imagine if a snare was doing that, and all of your, just a drum kit would be an absolute nightmare. But think about every single, percussive strike, even the vocals having that, sudden delay, that, to it is going to make it so confusing to listen to. So anyway, just put that in a dome. It means that you're now getting everything coming off the walls back into the middle of the audience. So it's amazing what they've done there to then treat the Royal Albert Hall with all the domes at the top in order to get the sound waves to bounce in particular ways where it isn't an absolute nightmare. For the space, they get a great sound in there. So yeah, really, that's what I was looking at. So I wasn't counting holes in the wall. So thank you for that, Steve. And I'm just going to scroll up because there has been another one that's come in, and this is from Carol, who has donated £15.76. So thank you for that, Carol. And the message is live stream. And thank you for attending, Carol. And all you guys who might be tuning in for the first time, hello to you. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. And we are going to be having a pick roulette very soon. In fact, let me jump into the pictures. So let me get the background up on screen. I'm going to just navigate my way over to Facebook because with this picture, we had a little explanation from Vince. I should say, with these two pictures, we have a little bit of an explanation from Vince because this is from the Zoom call that happened over on the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. And just to give a plug of that, if you guys want to get involved over there, then you can do. Just join that group. That's where a lot of the people in the live chat room hang out between the live streams. And Vince hosts the after party after these live streams. So let me actually find this picture so that you can see what I'm talking about. And this one, let's have a look. Right. We have Sandy and then Vince and Samantha. And by the way, I'm calling out the names from the top left to the right and then from left to right going down underneath. So we have Sandy top left and then Vince next to Sandy and then Samantha, Carl. And the next line down we have Don, Teresa, Bob, Jen, and then we have Francis, and you can see Francis's name there on the screen, Tom, Debbie, and Bev. And thank you for uploading that. Now you might be able to, let me see if I can get this on screen, see the second picture. So let me make sure that I get the names again, because here we got Sandy and Vince again, and then we got Sam and Carl and Don, Teresa, Bob, Tom, Debbie, Bev, Paul, Rena, Anna, Billy, Kevin, and Patrick. So thank you guys for getting involved over on Facebook on the Wings of Pegasus supporters group. And Vince for sending me that picture with all the names as well, because it's great to be able to see everyone who's getting involved with those Zoom calls. And like I said, if you guys want to get involved yourselves, head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. So right, let's jump into tonight's pick roulette. Let's see how this goes, whether it's going to be correctly aligned or anything. I do not know. We will see. I haven't picked a top tip yet, so I'm going to have to do that when we get into it. But see you guys. Actually, let me reset everything back to where it should be. So first of all, I need to get myself on screen, and then we reset and we go into the Saturday night pick roulette. So good luck, everybody. See you in a second. Rock. So I should be able to bring the wheel up, and amazingly it is quite well centralized, which I thought was going to be a little bit off, but it's worked out really well. Anyway, let me have a look on the screen to see. I'm going to choose, is that Sandy Ha-Ha or Sandy Ho-Ha? Sandy is the top tip tonight. And apologies for that, I've got a 0% winning record of choosing the top tip and then the top tip winning. So anyway, if this is your first pick roulette, the darker segments are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, then we have a t-shirt roulette. If we land on somebody's name, they're going to be going away with a signed Wings of Pegasus pick. But let's give the wheel a spin and see who is going to win. I always say you can double your chances of winning by tuning in on a Saturday and a Tuesday, and it's 12 midnight British summertime in order to catch the live streams. And if you tune in on a Tuesday and a Saturday, if we hit the likes goal, we have a roulette on both of the evenings that we live stream. So we are slowing down. Let's have a look at where we are going to land. And look, Sandy's name is up here. Oh, this is going to be close. This could be the first ever top tip. Maybe. Then it's Dania. So Dania, congratulations. That was so close to the first ever top tip winning. Now that is by far the closest we have ever got. I'm just going to, so this is Donia, I hope that I'm saying your name correctly. Congratulations to you. If you can, let yourself be known in the live chat room to Carla, that would be much appreciated so that we can organise everything with you and Carla can get the details from you to get the signed Wings of Pegasus pick sent off to you. I can't believe how close that was, and I'm just going to click the cross here to see. Look at that. It's literally the width of, I would say, the line. It's the point is just on the other side of Sandy's name. So commiserations, Sandy, but you are by far the closest ever top tip to have almost won. But I maintain my 0% winning record, unfortunately, but I am tempted to almost count that as a half. So anyway, yes, Donia, if you can let yourself be known in the live chat room, that would be great. As I always say, you have to be in it to win it. So when your name comes up, if it does land on you in the pick roulette, then you have to let yourself be known to Carla in that live chat room. But yes, congratulations. Right, we are going to be removing everything from the screen so that you guys can now enter in for next week's pick roulette, because entries are now open. So in order to get your name on next week's pick roulette, then this is what you have to do. We type at Carla Murray in order to tag Carla in the comment, and then type I agree. Maybe put in a few exclamation marks. I mean, it's not essential, but you can do if you want to. I would say don't put emoticons in there, or if you do, maybe do one, because if you do lots of emoticons, I know that is something that tends to get blocked on or by YouTube because there are too many pictures. So yeah, just do exactly what I've done. I've just gone through, but if you haven't seen how to enter the pick roulette before, just copy what everybody else is doing here. So at Carla Murray, and then I agree, or I agree at Carla Murray. As long as you tag Carla, that'll be fine. And please just do it once. So yeah, if you do it more than once, then unfortunately your name won't be on the wheel. So just make sure you do it once and your name will be on the wheel for next week, because we have hit our pick roulette likes goal. Right. Let me think about what, I mean, it's 10 past 1. Okay, so I'm going to have to think about ending the live stream. But before we do, I'll just have a quick look over on Patreon, because we might have time for a riff. I'm going to leave you guys a little bit of time to type I agree and get yourselves on that wheel for next week. And I mean, it almost looks like I'm just going to leave you guys to do that, and then I'm just going to go on my phone. But what I'm doing on my phone is trying to remember where that list was that Laura sent me, so that I can see which riffs we've done so far. And I think it might be at the Wings of Pegasus, email, and I'm going to have to scroll down. I think this is it. Right, so thank you, by the way, Laura, for sending me this. I'm going to click on that, and I can't remember which one we had last time, so we might have the same one twice. I mean, there's a 1 in 100 chance of me picking the same riff that we had suggested last time, but what we'll do is, I'm still waiting for people to type I agree, but that's something that you guys can do to enter the pick roulette for next week. And I can see that some numbers are already coming in, so if you guys can give me a number between 1 and 100, then we will look at a riff, and I will check on my list to see the ones that we haven't had yet. So let's have a look at what we've got going on. Steve says 29. We haven't had 29 yet. 63, 53, 99, 58. Right there, kind of going through. And Jennifer says 25, 65 Stardust Unicorn. Joanne says 2. We actually had number 2. I can tell you that it's Wicked Sensation by Lynch Mob. And let's have a little look. Okay, right, I'm going to pick one. Big B8 says 55. So let's see if 55. We have not had 55. So let's have a search for that. And hopefully I'm actually going to be able to get it. Okay, right. So riff of the week. Was it 55 that I just said? Type that in. Let's click on it, get it full screen, and stop it from playing. Sometimes even when you stop it from playing, it then starts playing. So you can't really win. But I've managed to stop it. Okay, right, let me get the screen capture up on screen. So at least it's going to show up on the screen that you guys can see. And I should be able to do that like this. Okay, right, here we go. So as always, you don't win anything here. And I think, it's just, I think not really a competition. It's just, we'll see if we can get this riff, because I think even I've forgotten most of these riffs that I did. But let's have a listen and we'll see what it is. Just throw your best guesses into the live chat room, and it is the riff that we want. So the song that we want to name in the live chat room. You can name the band as well if you want to, but we are looking for the song and the riff that this comes from. Let's have a listen. It's an easy one. And there we have it. Now that is one of those riffs that you almost have to resist singing along with it. This is one of those tunes that when myself and Griff, who you guys will know from a previous live stream, we used to go out on a Friday night and hit the clubs in, Tottenham Court Road and Camden, all the rock clubs. And this was one of those songs that was just always on. And yeah, always a dance floor filler. But let me just have a little scroll up, because I want to make sure that we can read out a few of these guesses. So let's see where we played it. And let me just scroll up, because I'm not really sure at what point we actually started. So we still had some numbers coming in there. So let's have a little scroll down. And Steve says Scorpions Hurricane. So well done, Steve. And let me just go down a little bit further. Jennifer says Rainbow. And Robert says Rainbow. And then Carla says Rock You Like a Hurricane. So well done to Carla. And because it's kind of less of a competition, we're just getting that riff. Even if, we're getting Hurricane or Rock You Like a Hurricane, if we're in the right ballpark, then, well done. And I can see that, Johan and Hope is the thing. We've also got some correct. Tammy says we hit over 500 likes, which is fantastic. Thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. Donna says Rock You Like a Hurricane as well. Get some J. So yes, congratulations to you guys who have guessed it correctly. I think Steve maybe was the first one to get it. So yeah, well done to you and everybody that said Hurricane or Rock You Like a Hurricane. So anyway, and I think kind of technically the song is called Rock You Like a Hurricane. At least I remember it being called that, not just Hurricane. But anyway, I'll have to check. I'll type it into Google or something afterwards and check that is the full title. But anyway, it's all good. Well done to you guys that got it. And it was one of those slightly easier ones, but one of those great riffs as well, especially if you're into hard rock music, as I am myself. Right, we are going to be closing things very soon, or calling things to a close very soon. So make sure that, really last chance now to enter into next week's pick roulette. So I'm just going to get that off the screen. So enter in there, tag Carla Murray and type I agree. So really last chance to enter in now. But thank you guys for joining. And I'm just going to have a quick look into that super chat window, because Orlando donated $2 and said, sorry for not being active, I am fixing dinner. So thank you for that, Orlando, and that is something that I will be doing very soon indeed. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and we really have been flying by the seat of our pants on tonight's live stream, but it all seemed to have gone pretty well. I think again my lights need a little bit of charging, because I didn't think about doing that. It's all a bit busy today. I started getting ready at about 4:30 this afternoon, and yeah, so it's a bit of a long day, but then straight into the live stream, and then dinner. to follow very shortly. But thank you guys for joining me and for hitting that thumbs up. Over 500 likes, which is a crazy amount of likes, but it does mean that we are having a pick roulette next week. So make sure you tune in for that. I'm going to be live streaming again on Tuesday night, 12 midnight British summertime. And I'm going to be releasing another analysis video tomorrow night. So look out for that one. But as I always say, try to stay sane and stay safe as much as possible, just as much as you can in the current world that we live in, which is, yeah, very crazy. But I will hopefully see you on Tuesday night for that live stream, but I will definitely see you at the analysis video tomorrow night. So have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Huge shout out to the moderators for doing such a fantastic job, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!